What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the shed. That right there is a little mock-up ceiling that I've put together because I want to talk to you about two new downlights from Interlux. I'm just going to go ahead and be real with you guys. This is a shoot that's going to take place over 2 or 3 days, so if it seems a little edited and put together, that's why. I'm going to do some product stuff today, and then I'm going to get these up in the ceiling, and then we can actually see them light up the wall at some point over the next couple of days. So when this is all edited together, it's going to make sense, but I wanted to warn you as you're watching it. That's why it looks like it's a little disjointed. If I'm changing clothes, if the sunlight goes away, that's why. All right, guys, I'm trying something a little new with this video. So I'm going to drop a lot of facts about the GDL and about the Protools 3-inch. If you can come back to me with a message on 3 things you learned about these two downlights, you're going to get a special giveaway from yours truly. Okay, so the two downlights we're going to talk about in this video are the Protools 3-inch from Whitegoods, part of Interlux, and the general downlight, the GDL. Let's start with the Protools 3-inch. So that's what I'm holding in my hand here. You're going to see that both of these have a sort of European-style whip to driver installation. So this can be retrofit, this can be new construction if you need a tray that's available, to mount your driver to. But one cool thing about this that I thought I'd point out is this is pass-through wiring on the driver. So your 0 to 10 and your power can daisy chain from driver to driver and create a complete installation without having to run multiple home runs back to your power source or back to your control source. So I thought that was kind of a cool little detail. You're going to see here, there's your trim. This is the open trim. And what I like about this is I can just poke this like that. Out this comes. And I can swap it. I'm going to get it right in there. Get that nice and close for you. You see those 3 black tabs there? If I align those to these catch tabs here, I can swap out my trim. And it's just a push and catch like that. And that view makes it seem like they're not flush, but they're totally flush. See? And now I have a lensed opening there. So there's different beam spreads available for that, based on this. My sample kit has a frosted lens, it's got an open bezel, and it's got a wall wash. And we're going to take a look at all of those up in the ceiling. All right. So one thing to keep in mind as we're doing installation for these, I'll just show you the wall wash real quick. It's kind of important to keep in mind Interlux's philosophy and the Whitegoods philosophy in terms of architectural lighting. So I want to show you this wall wash bezel here. And you see that's the sort of eyelid shape. And I can tell already, there's some of you watching going, I'll never specify it. But here's the thing. When you look at that opening there, there's a reason behind it. And the reason is, this is the wall washer. What's a little tough to tell, but I'm going to get in close and see if you can see it, is the lens is angled in here to kick light toward the top of the wall. And then this eyelid here acts as both a guard and a reflector to kick light down toward the bottom of the wall. So while this appearance might throw some people off, the important thing to understand is the goal is not to look at this. The goal is to look at the wall you're lighting. Whitegoods and their philosophy about architectural lighting is that the fixtures themselves should disappear and complement the rest of the space. So, we get very hung up, and that's one of the reasons why I put the ceiling up here. We get very hung up on when I tabletop something and I show it to you like this. But this is never the way you're going to experience a recessed downlight. So it was important for me to build a little something and actually show you what it's going to look like if you were experiencing it in the space. The other light that I want to talk about is the GDL, or the general downlight. It's a 2.4-inch aperture downlight with multiple options available for trims and for lensing, but not really optics, right? This is, again, meant to be a general downlight. Extremely competitive on cost. We all know what's happened to the downlight market over the last 2 years. Well, the GDL is a response to that. So maybe you're using Protools fixtures in places where you really need that wall wash optic or a pin spot or all the things that Protools can do. The GDL is more meant to be your workhorse throughout the space, the low cost, get it done kind of downlight. Similar to the Pro Tools, you're going to have your light engine and your driver, and with a whip in between. And this is installed from below, so you drill your hole, you slide this up and through, and then this catches. Your wings fold in, and then they open up, and there's a worm drive in here. If I remove the trim, you can see those two worm drives in there, and that's how I screw this down and get it locked into place. So that's the core of the GDL. We're going to take a look at all the different trim options available and really see how quiet this can get and how clean and just a nice architectural downlight. That's a nice workhorse at a very affordable price. Okay, so it's dark, night has fallen, I'm back in the shed, and we're going to take a look at the GDL directly. Okay, so obviously the very first thing I would say is this is not lighting 101. You don't want to just be under a downlight for a video, but I thought this was a good example. I'm going to do some close-ups of the aperture so you can actually see what the trim is doing and see just how quiet this is above me. This is one of those things that's extremely hard to show in video, but as we get closer to that aperture, you're going to see what I mean. By the way, throughout this video, you're going to hear me referencing the price point. If you'd like to learn what that price point is, shoot me a message. Okay, so what I've got in here is the frosted inner lens. And obviously this is a little bit dramatic, but as I roll out the focus here and I get this exposure back to what you'd normally see, we step down, you can sort of see how that's doing in the ceiling. So it's definitely a quiet downlight. It's direct downlight, right? So you're looking at this in a plywood ceiling, right, with no white against it and zero, and it's a maximum contrast, right? So there's no filler light. We're just looking at the downlight. So as I pan down from here and get my eye line out of this, you can see it's a nice soft, this is 3000K, the sample we're looking at. You can look at my messy shed and my plywood box. It's a nice quality of light, really nice and soft. I will also point out as we get up along here, these are the power cords for the samples. We're not getting any kind of multiple shadowing, and the light feathers out really nicely along the wall. So it's really what you'd like from a regressed lens downlight, right? Especially at the price point that they're offering this. The GDL is a super straightforward downlight. It requires 4.5 inches of recessing depth up above there to get the fixture up and in. If you're doing a retrofit housing, if it's on a tray, you can be slightly lower than that. You're going to see on the website that the cut sheets are broken out, recessed cone, flush lens, or wall wash. The wall wash, it's one of those eyelid wall washers that comes out of the ceiling. I'm not sure, how often that's going to get specified. I'll just being honest. But when you see regress cone, this is what we're talking about. So on the website, you're going to see white, which is the standard finish. You're also going to see gray, which really cuts down some of the light, and you're going to see that in a second. There's also a polished, right, if you want a little more flash, a little more pop. And then my personal favorite, the black, because this is the quietest. Depending on your CCT, you're delivering about 700 to 800 lumens at the high power mark. You're going to see on the cut sheet there's a low, medium, and high output. So 400 lumens, I think it's about 600 lumens in the middle, and then it goes up to 800. Different power levels based on what you may need for lighting power densities, and also desired effect, right? If you're trying to top out, it's a hospitality space, and you want to go lower. 2700, 3000, 3500, 4000K. Just to show you real quick, this is the flush lens. They all pop in and out the same way. So if you had to make a change in the field, it wouldn't be a disaster. And these are also available in custom Oriel colors. 0 to 10 volt dimming is standard. In addition to the retrofit housing that you saw get installed up above me, there are also new construction and IC housings, should those be required, if you're doing a residential environment or an insulated ceiling. If Chicago Planum or sealed or anything else are required, I don't believe there's an option for that at this point, but we can always talk to Interlux and see what we can get done. Black bezel has become the thing, right? I love this trend that we're having toward glare control and quieter ceilings. I feel like it's just a cool trend, and it's a good one for the industry. And you can see that black trim really does cut down on some of that low angle glare. 50-degree cutoff on the GDL, right? Really basic, really open optic. But I will say, and I'll get our exposure set here, you'll see it's even quieter with that black cone, and that edge of the beam does become a little bit more defined than when you had the white cone. Okay, so now it's time to talk about the Protools Downlight series. So you're going to find all over the Whitegoods section of the Interlux website this acronym for Protools, right? So there's going to be, for pretty much every family, a more basic version of it, right, where it just gets the job done, gets the line of light, or it gets the downlight finished. And then there's going to be the Protools version of that. And the Protools version is basically just something with more specifiable options. So the Protools 3-inch picks that up and picks up that thread. So what you're going to see up here, we're going to start with, there's a wall wash, a downlight, and then there's a variety of different apertures for that downlight. Here's the thing that I really like about the Protools series. It's very, very competitively priced against whatever else is out there on the market, especially for your commercial applications with no insulated housings or anything like that. Variety of beam spreads available and really nice performance for what you're going to get, and you're going to see that when we fire this guy up. So we're going to start with the wall wash, which is what's on behind me right now. It's performing now. The thing we had talked about in the opening was this idea of a trim that has this half eyelid. And this really does come back to Interlux's and Whitegoods, really, their philosophy about integrating into the ceiling. And what you can see is that little kicker reflector there throws light just about, you can see the top of that dark piece of plywood there, or 2x4 there, is getting kissed with light, right there. And then as you back out, you can see just how nice that wall wash is. There's just a little bit of a trail off as you're coming from side to side, but you're getting light all the way clear across. And then your center of the wall, really where your viewing height is perfect. So if you can just imagine, now just to show you, this is mounted 18 inches off the wall, right? This was the ideal spacing provided to me by Interlux. If you went 1.5 from that, so about 24 inches, right across to the next one for a second wall washer, you'd have a perfectly illuminated wall right off the center here. And so that to me is what you're looking for when you want a fixed wall washer. It's about what you're doing at the wall, not necessarily what's happening up in the ceiling. 3-inch aperture, beautiful performance, really, really nice top to bottom illumination out of this very, very reasonably priced downlight. So the Protools 3-inch does a few things that the GDL obviously doesn't. It gets your lumen packages much higher, right? So you're getting up to that 1500 lumen package with the 3-inch Protools. So that right there is a big game changer if you've got elevated ceilings and you need to get the light down to those ceilings. That really helps. It introduces an adjustable, right? So a true adjustable, which you can aim along the axis. I don't have a sample of that, but that's part of the family. It introduces specifiable options like warm dimming and tunable white. So if you're doing a project that needs dynamic color, you can do that with these fixtures. I will be honest with you, it does not have a laser tight spotlight at this point. It does have an adjustable, has a 25-degree and a 36-degree beam spread, so 2 different options there. Again, this is more about getting light in the general directions that you want them, not necessarily pin spotting tables from 15 feet up, right? There's other tools in the Interlux toolkit to get you there, but it's not going to be the Protools 3. This is the Protools downlight. This is the regressed lens up here. You can see really nice cutoff on this guy, right? My viewing angle here is pretty much what you'd get in the real world, and it's a really nice soft spot of light. Again, nice feathered edge at the outside of the downlight, nice and punchy though down on the ground. It's exactly what you'd want from a downlight, right? Now, I'm a little lower than you'd probably want to mount these. My little fake ceiling here is about 7 feet up, but it gives you the right idea, right? This is essentially what you'd be looking at from this downlight series. And what makes it great is that you can tie it back into a wall washer and an adjustable and really work with it as a fixture across your job. So it becomes this workhorse spec grade downlight that can really cover most of the spaces that you're working on. Just like I showed you on the GDL, this can be done as a retrofit where we slide that housing up and in. One cool thing about that particular driver is the pass-through for power and for 0 to 10. I think that's kind of a cool feature. But of course, you've got your new construction housings, your landing pans, Chicago plenum, airtight. There's all other options for housings on the Pro Tools side because it's a full spec grade downlight. You're also going to find on the website for the Pro Tools series essentially a variety of different 0 to 10 volt drivers and Lutron drivers. If you're working on something else and you need some other sort of driver, if something else comes up, just let us know. There's other driver options available for phase dimming or whatever else may be necessary. So don't hesitate to ask. Okay, guys, so there you have it. Really quick overview of the GDL downlight with general illumination downlight, 2.4 inch, and the 3-inch Pro Tools downlight series. Great line, really economical, available. I think that's important to say right now with the state of the market. Built in Baltimore, or just outside of Baltimore in Maryland. Easy shipping to our market here in New York. Really, really great day-to-day option for downlights that are sitting on the shelf and ready to operate. So, when you need these and when you want to talk about it more, these are sample kits that I will take out of my plywood ceiling and bring to your office so we can talk about it. Okay, did you remember? 3 facts. Shoot me a message, Instagram, LinkedIn, email, however you got this. You got a giveaway from me.